Hello, my beautiful, brilliant fifth graders. Welcome to our very first flipped lesson. Today we are learning about the order of operations. Our I can statement is, I can evaluate expressions using the order of operations, including parentheses, brackets, and braces. You're asking yourself, why do we need an order of operations? And that would be a very good question. We need an order of operations because as we begin to do more complex math with more than one step or more than one operation, we need to know which order to complete those operations so that every mathematician in the whole world can get the same result to the same problem. For example, if I had 15 times 3 plus 4, I wouldn't know if I should multiply first or add first. Luckily, we have an order of operations to tell us what to do. Our order of operations is commonly known as PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S. Many people remember this order of operations with a mnemonic device, such as, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," or "Penguins eat many donuts after school." Or perhaps you can relate to this, "Please end my day at school." However you remember the order of operations doesn't really matter, just that you remember which order to do each operation. Let's try an example. Here we have a table that shows the number of calories burned in 1 minute for two different activities. Nathan swims for 4 minutes and then runs for 8 minutes. How many calories has Nathan burned in all? I check out the table and I see that swimming burns 12 calories a minute. Since he swam for 4 minutes, I know that I'll need to find my answer by multiplying 12 times 4. I see that running burns 10 calories a minute. And since Nathan ran for 8 minutes, I can find my answer by multiplying 10 times 8. But to determine how many calories Nathan has burned in all, I will need to add both of those products together. I will need to follow the order of operations to find the correct answer. So let's get solving. I know that we've got parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract as our orders of operations. So let's check it out. Parentheses. I check my expression and I don't see any parentheses, so we're done there. Next comes exponents. I look at my expression, I don't see any exponents, so we are done there. Now, finally, I come to multiplication and division. I know that I must multiply and divide in order from left to right in my expression. I have two multiplication problems. I will need to solve the one on the left first. 12 times 4 is 48. Next, I will have to solve my second multiplication problem, 10 times 8. The product of 10 and 8 is 80. So I have completed the multiplication and division part of my PEMDAS. Finally, I can move on to add and subtract. I have one operation. I will add 48 and 80. I know 40 plus 80 is 120, plus 8 more is 128. So Nathan burned 128 calories. Let's try another example. Whoa, what is all of this? Here I see many grouping symbols. I have parentheses. I have what are called brackets. And I also have what are known as braces. These are all different grouping symbols and they all mean the same thing. But when we start with our order of operations, we know we must solve the problem that's most inside the grouping symbols first. Generally, that means that first we solve our parentheses, then the brackets, then the braces. So let's get solving. I'm going to rewrite my expression. I'm looking for 20 minus 4 plus the sum of 4 and 10 divided by 2. My first, most innermost grouping symbol is my parentheses, so I must solve 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and I have finished my parentheses. Next, I must solve what's in my brackets. I have to find the sum of 4 and 5. 4 and 5 is 9. So I have solved what is inside my brackets. And finally, I come to the braces. I need to solve 4 plus 9, which is 13. Now I have a problem that is one step, 20 minus 13, and I know that 20 minus 13 is 7. So the solution we are looking for is 7. Look into this just a little bit more. How could you prove that you need to follow the order of operations to evaluate expressions? Example, Hunter and Kim evaluated this expression, but as we can see, they both got 2 different answers. Let's use the order of operations to see who solved the problem correctly. I'm going to write my PEMDAS over in the corner. That will help me keep track of my order of operations. Then I'm going to rewrite my expression. That way I can solve it without any distractions. So let's check my PEMDAS. My first step is parentheses. I do have a set of parentheses here. 10 minus 5 is 5, and I have finished with my parentheses. My next step is exponents. I do have an exponent here. We've talked about exponents before when we did powers of 10. This is the same concept. It's not a power of 10, but it means the same thing. Here, I have 2 to the second power, which is also known as 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So I have taken care of the exponents of my expression. My next step is multiplication and division. I see that I have 2 different operations. My order of operations tells me that I must multiply or divide first. That means I must solve the product of 4 times 4. And now I have completed the multiplication and division section, and I can move on to adding and subtracting. 5 plus 16 is 21, and I have completed my problem. I can see then that Kim had the correct answer because she followed the order of operations. Here's another order of operations problem we might encounter. Here we are being asked to use parentheses to make the equation below true. What needs to be true about this equation? Well, it needs to be true that the solution is 28. By adding parentheses, that means we are saying which part of this problem do we need to solve first in order for our solution to be 28. The best way to do this is to just guess and check. I like to start at the beginning, place my parentheses, and see where it takes me. So first, I'm going to start with putting my parentheses here, around the 10 and 15, and solving that section first. 10 plus 15 is 25. Minus 6 times 2. The order of operations would tell me I must solve this multiplication problem before the subtraction problem. So I would need to solve 25 minus 12, and 25 minus 12 is 13. This is not 28, so this cannot be my solution. That means that my parentheses cannot go here. So let's try another spot. I'm going to try here with my parentheses around my 15 minus 6. Let's see how my order of operations helps me here. If I am solving for 15 minus 6 first, 15 minus 6 is 9, and I'll get 10 plus 9 times 2. Well, I know that the order of operations tells me I must multiply before I add, so I will solve 9 times 2 next. The product is 18. Finally, I can add, and I have 10 plus 18. My answer is 28. This is the solution we are looking for, so the parentheses must go around 15 minus 6 for this equation to be true. Let's quickly try one more practice problem before I leave you. I'm going to rewrite this expression. I have 28 plus the product of 2 times 4 to the second power, all divided by 8. So let's see. I've got to do parentheses, then exponents. Well, I've got parentheses right here, and I see that inside my parentheses is an exponent, so I'll have to take care of that first. 2 times 4 to the second power. I know that 4 to the second power is the same as 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Now I can complete what's in my parentheses. 2 times 16 is 32. Now I need to take care of what's in the brackets. 32 divided by 8. 32 divided by 8 will give me 4, and I have completed what's in my bracket. And finally, my braces. 28 plus 4 is 32. The solution to this problem is 32. That brings us to the end of our first flip lesson. Let's take a little look at what you're expected to do for your homework. As you know, you have a WISC. A WISC stands for watch, summarize, question. So let's go over what you need to have prepared for class tomorrow. This is our lesson today. You watched this video. The topic was the order of operations, and the I can statement can be found right here. Go ahead and press pause if you need to write this down on your WISC. This is your guiding question that you will use to summarize your learning. I expect you to use complete sentences, and I expect you to explain. Don't just tell me the answer. Explain why it is important to follow the order of operations when evaluating this expression. Here is the question. I'd like you to complete this practice question and then try your hand at creating a practice problem for a classmate. Come up with a problem that demonstrates our lesson today, demonstrates that you need to follow an order of operations to arrive at the correct solution. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow.